And with the magic of the internet, everyone, we are back after 2 weeks with another episode of Full Moon Friday here on Outpost Unknown. My name is Matthew, joined once again by a very, very uncomfortable Steve.
Yeah, I do not consent to this episode.
And, happy, maybe? I don't know. Excited, Borp?
Oh, I'm happy to be here. I'm consenting.
So, okay. Borp, I'm going to turn this over to you in terms of, like, how did you come about recommending, or I won't say recommending, suggesting that we watch this
No, it was
film?
a full-bodied recommendation.
Full-throated.
I said I want to talk about this movie. I didn't say it would be good. So here's the thing. This was the first full moon movie I ever watched. And the reason and the reason that happened was because I was with a group of friends, and one of these friends, my dear friend Nina, was very Twin Peaks pilled at the time. And she was like going through all the actors of Twin Peaks and watching like every movie they've been in. Like she was in it. And that led us down some pretty interesting paths. And so I just came across this movie. And no, this is the first Charles Band movie I'd ever seen, because I did see Castle Freak. And so I looked at the cover for this movie as we were watching, like looking for something to watch. And I'm like, well, this has Sheryl Lynn Fenn. It's a full moon movie. It kind of looks like Castle Freak. That's not like a fantastic movie, but I bet this is going to be like Castle Freak with a werewolf.
Yeah, it's a decent Stuart Gordon movie.
Yeah, for sure. And so that was my pitch. And when I was just with a group of friends, and we decided to watch it, and it became like one of those legendary movies. Like, what the fuck are we watching?
Okay.
And so, in my head, as time has progressed, like I wanted to revisit this movie with the like full context of a Full Moon's filmography of Charles Band as a person, because I had a very entertaining time when I watched it with that group of friends, and we didn't know what we were expecting. But I was interested in going back and seeing like, okay, how much of that was the movie and how much of that was my dumb group of friends? And it turns out a lot of that was my dumb group of friends, because this movie's awful.
You buy that story, why he sprung this on us, Steve?
No, I think Borp's got a werewolf kink, and this is just he's sharing it with us.
The werewolf looks so stupid. Okay.
Oh boy. Okay, so yes, folks, we are talking Meridian, Kiss of the Beast. I think this came out in 1990. It was directed by Charles Band. We'll talk. I guess nubile women assaulted by werewolves is basically the plot of this movie, with a little unfortunate romance, problematic romance tossed in. And I had seen this movie before. I had seen this movie way, way back in the day, and I had no interest in ever revisiting this movie because I'm like, this is a very icky movie. It feels very, very gross. And we'll make sure that Steve, again, goes into minute detail about all of the things that happen in this movie. That's going to be great to hear. Steve, have you heard of Meridian before Borp recommended it?
No, I had not heard of it before. Borp was like, guys, you got to see this movie. It's fucking rad.
That's not what happened. It was on tape. You can go back.
Borp was full-throated. He's like, yes, watch this. This is going to change your lives.
With slander.
All right, Steve. Let's slowly, meticulously, with a fine-tooth comb, go through the story and plot, the character motivations of Meridian, Kiss of the Beast.
So this movie opens with like a big stone statue that's like a massive like mouth, and a bunch of like circus people come out of it, like people like eating fire. There's like a circus strongman, like magicians and whatnot. Like the circus comes out of this giant stone mouth sculpture in the middle of nowhere.
They problematically call them carnies. I think you can't say carnies anymore.
Okay.
You can't.
I was okay.
I don't think.
I'm referring to them as circus people.
Yeah.
Circus people doesn't feel great either, but
I
okay.
mean, look, I'm running
I
out
didn't know.
of descriptors.
No, okay.
Entertainers, Steve. They're entertainers.
Okay.
No, they're not. They're like objectively not entertainers.
That's true. They're presented as entertainers when they
Yeah.
come out of the mouth of the
I'm
rock.
calling it a circus.
It's classic full moon, like very long intro sequence. It's done in slow motion as well, padding out the runtime.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the circus people come out of the stone mouth sculpture. And then we cut to like a church, and like a painting has been delivered, and like the person in charge of the church is like, we don't need any more paintings. And someone comes in and is like, no, this painting is from like the 15th century. It could be worth all this money. We need to give it to some like a restorer. I don't know the official title of this. The Charlie Spradling apparently is a woman who restores paintings, and so they take it to Charlie, and they're like, "Hey, restore this. You got to restore it by Monday." And it's like she's like, "I got to go out of town. I got to meet my friend Gina at this castle that she randomly owns." And they're like, "Nope, you got to restore it by Monday." And so Charlie's she has a big sad. So she's gonna like go spend like one day with her friend Kathy or Catherine, and then she's got to leave and come back. So what's Catherine doing?
Wait, real quick. I just want to point out that we're introduced to Charlie Spradling during all this, and you suspect that she's going to be like the lead of the movie throughout this whole opening thing. She turns out not to be, but the interesting thing about this is she didn't even put her last name.
She's just Charlie.
She's just credited as Charlie in this.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. That stood out to me too.
Yeah. I think she even realized, I don't know if I should.
Maybe I'll be on the right side of history with this one.
Little did she know IMDb would exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Charlie's like, I got to go hang out with my friend Catherine at her magical castle later this weekend. So then we meet Catherine, and she goes home to her magical castle. Like I guess she used to be like, her family used to be like nobility or something. Regardless,
it's unclear.
She just has a castle. And so
that's actually Charles Band's castle, by the way.
He
had
all the motherfuckers in the world that own a castle. It would be goddamn Charles Band. There's no justice in the world.
He owned it until like 2012, and he ran out of money, and he couldn't pay taxes in Italy, so he had to sell it.
Yeah. Just think, Matt, imagine what we could do if we owned a castle and he churned out shit like this.
I know, man. I mean, we're in the worst timeline. What can I say?
So anyways, Catherine goes home to her castle, and there's an old woman who used to be her nanny. I don't remember her name. I'm just gonna call her the nanny. And so Catherine gets it to her castle, and then Charlie, whose name I think is actually Gina, comes in, and they're gonna have a fun weekend together. And they're like, what should we do? Like, they're very sad that Charlie is only going to be here for like a day, so they got to make the most out of their one day together before Charlie has to leave to go to restore this painting. And so they look out their window, and the circus people are out there. And so Charlie's like, yeah, let's go see the circus. And like,
okay, I want to interrupt real quick,
please,
because there's a part in this beginning that made me laugh out loud, really. Okay, so they're like walking around the castle, and I think the idea was to like give some background here as to why this castle exists, why they're at this place. She's like, so who owns, what's the history of this place? And Sherilyn Fenn's character, like her response is like, well, they say in 1500s that wizards used to own this place. Yeah. Oh, what she asked. Okay. And that's like the background we get.
Magic Castle. Catherine owns a magic castle. So Gina is like, let's go see the circus. And everything Gina says, everything Gina says, Gina's Charlie. I'm going to get those confused. Catherine, who is the actual main character, is like, no, Charlie, I don't want to do that. Catherine is proven right repeatedly. Charlie is a bad influence and is not to be trusted. So Charlie is like, let's go see the circus, and just like berates Catherine until Catherine agrees. So they go see the circus, and there's a dude with a whip. There's a strong man breaking chains. Doctor Doom in a brown cloak is there, and the main guy. I mean, am I wrong? He's wearing a fucking Doctor Doom mask.
No, it's just funny that you mentioned it because we're going to find out what Doctor Doom does very problematically
Oh yeah.
in this movie. But I'm looking at the cast listing on IMDb, and the guy, the guy who plays the actor here, Malcolm Jameson, his IMDb picture is him in the Doctor Doom mask from this movie. It's like he's covered his fucking face so that like no one will know. I'm gonna put this in the chat. It's fucked up.
So, anyways, Doctor Doom is there, and then the main guy, I guess, is like I don't know, the ringmaster, and we find out that his name, I believe, is Lawrence, and he is, yeah, we're magic circus people. I need a person from the audience, and then they grab Charlie and do a magic trick with her, and they're
You know
all
what
so
this is
impressed.
like? You know what this reminds me of, Steve?
I don't want to know, but you're gonna tell me.
When we go to conventions and in Charles Band's
The
on
traveling
stage,
roadshow.
the traveling road show, and I was watching this. I was like, is this where he got that initial idea to bring some like nubile woman up on stage and put her in an uncomfortable situation?
So where we last left Charlie, she was going through the roadshow experience, but she actually has a good time. So she goes to Catherine and is like, "Let's invite the entire group of circus people back to the castle." And Catherine's like, "No, that's fucking stupid." But then Catherine gives in to peer pressure and goes along with Charlie's terrible idea. So all of the circus folks go back to the castle. So the main guy Lawrence is there, and we'll find out Lawrence and Doctor Doom are the two like main people within the circus that we need to pay attention to. So they're eating, they're having a good time, and then Charlie and Catherine just casually get roofied.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're Catherine and Charlie are drugged, and Catherine gets taken to a separate room. Meanwhile, the circus folks are left behind with Charlie, and so Lawrence.
He's struggling. He's like,
I
how do
am
I word
struggling.
this?
How do I word? I'm trying to be very careful here. Lawrence, the main like circus ringmaster magician guy, takes Catherine away, leaving Charlie to the rest of the circus people. And so he puts Catherine in bed, starts undressing her, and this is a sexual assault, no doubt about it.
This is all shot in slow motion.
Yes,
this goes
right,
on forever.
The movie films this like this is supposed to be this sensual experience. There's this slow music playing. Like the movie is expecting you to be turned on by this while bad things are happening.
I could be wrong, but I think it's like 20 minutes of the movie.
It feels like 20 minutes. It goes on and on.
It's definitely above 10.
Cross-cutting back and forth between Gina and Catherine as they are.
Yeah.
And Catherine and Gina / Charlie are like presented as they're into it. Like, I mean, they've been drugged, but the movie is showing it is filmed this like this is a romantic experience for them. So Lawrence, the main circus guy, gets Catherine undressed and then leaves her and goes out into a hallway, and Doctor Doom is in the hallway. And so he says to Doctor Doom, "All right, she's all yours, ready and willing." And so Doctor Doom is now going to go assault Catherine. But Doctor Doom pulls off his mask, and it's Lawrence's twin brother. So they're like the circus ringmaster has a twin brother. So the main one is Lawrence, and the one hiding his identity under the Doctor Doom mask is Oliver. And so Oliver goes and assaults Catherine, and the movie presents it like Catherine is really into it.
Yeah, because she's like crying because Lawrence left her, and then he comes back in, and it's even more disturbing because not only is she emotionally distraught, but then he takes advantage of her in that state. It's fucked up.
Yep. So
It's bizarre and very uncomfortable. You know, older movies tend to do these things, and sometimes I don't know what the reasoning behind it. Like I think some filmmakers just didn't quite understand like how to portray sexual assault because there's like very serious and like good movies who do this. Like Straw Dogs is a really good example. There's like a rape scene in that movie that starts off like super horrifying, and then like halfway through it, they're like, "Oh no, she's into it now," and it's like bizarre. Like that's a movie with Dustin Hoffman in it. Like that is a big production. But I want to like kind of believe that that comes from a place of just like not understanding the subject very well. Like if I want to give the filmmakers the benefit of the doubt, I don't think that's happening here. They're like, no, we want this to be like sexy,
Wikipedia
Um,
describes this as a romantic horror film.
right?
what was the reaction of your friend group, Borp, when
No,
you're
like
sitting down, you're watching this?
Well,
I mean,
let me pay off like the rest
okay.
of
Oh,
this scene.
Steve wants to pay it off.
He
Okay.
wants,
Oh, so
he wants to finish.
yeah, let me point out what happens during this scene, and then I want to get Borp's friend's reaction. So Lawrence tags out and sends Oliver in, and so Oliver, the Doctor Doom twin, begins assaulting Catherine, and in the middle of it, he turns into a werewolf. Borp, go.
Okay. All right. So up until that point where he turns into a werewolf, just everyone's like horrified. It's like snickering, maybe like some uncomfortable jokes. But then as soon as because they cut in on Sherilyn's face, and then they cut back, and he's fully transformed into a werewolf, the whole room erupts in laughter. Like it is such a goofy transition. And I think at that point, the mood had been, it was like more chill. But up until that point, like I'm like, what have I made these people watch?
And the werewolf does not look threatening at all.
Oh, it looks so stupid.
I mean,
Derpy werewolf.
I think like if you just kind of step back and take the rest of the elements of the film away, and someone were just be like, "Hey, look, I put a person in a werewolf costume," I'd be like, "Okay, I mean that looks." I mean, you did a good job doing what you wanted to do, but it doesn't look like a scary werewolf. It doesn't look like anything that is threatening or frightening. Jumping ahead, it does nothing. This movie. I mean, it has to use crossbows to to harm people. I mean, it's not a creepy werewolf at all. But it gets creepier later on. We get another scene with Sherilyn Fenn and the werewolf later on that I'm sure Steve will go into intricate detail on. Um, yeah, it's weird, but it's also cross-cutting to Lawrence then assaulting Charlie Spradling by a like a fire.
Yep.
It's in slow motion.
And the movie continues to present it like both of the women are into this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's a thing that happens in this movie.
So, anyways, after the werewolf assault, we go to the next day, and Charlie and Catherine are both very aware what happened to them. They talk about going to the police, but they ultimately decide against it. And so Charlie's like, "Well, I got to leave the movie now. I got to go back to finish restoring the painting."
That's so weird about this too. They're
Yeah.
totally fine with it, basically, because Charlie Spradling walks in. She's like, "Hey, sorry for inviting the circus people over. Yeah, they did some. They had their way with us. Sorry about that. Should we go to the police?" And the sheriff's like, "Nah,"
Yeah,
and they just go move
it's
on
like
with their life like nothing happened.
I mean, it's not even a conversation. It's like
I know.
we should go to the police, and Sherilyn Fenn's like, we can't go to the police. I'm like, okay.
Okay, well, I have a job to do. I gotta go restore this painting. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
The end of Charlie Spradling, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, she'll pop up a couple times, but yeah, so Charlie Spradling just leaves, goes back to her job, which leaves Catherine to just kind of exist in the castle. Like at some point, she starts seeing a ghost, like a ghost of a young girl that was stabbed. She decides to go walk back over to where the circus people were, and she runs into Lawrence, and she's like, you're a terrible person. I know what you did, but the movie plays it like there's this like sexual tension between them. Uh, so she leaves. She goes back to her castle. We get I'm losing the order that these events happen. So please jump in if I miss something. But we eventually, like, Catherine leaves and goes back to the castle, and then we see Lawrence and Oliver interacting, and Oliver the werewolf has been cursed, and he can only. And I think we find out at some point they're both like 400 years old, so they've been like cursed with immortality, but also Oliver's a werewolf, and and he's trying to he can only be killed by the owner of the castle, and even then, only if the owner of the castle is a woman who loves him. And so he is like, I love Catherine. You know, like we had a moment the other night when she was completely drugged and at my mercy. So like she's the one. I'm gonna get her to kill me because I love her and I know she's gonna love me. And Lawrence is like, you're so fucking stupid. Like
I
you're
assaulted
that's
her. She loves me now.
yeah. And so Lawrence is like, no, that's not gonna happen. So like Lawrence and Oliver have this like love hate relationship. Like they're brothers. There's brotherly love there, but also Lawrence is super evil and enjoys tormenting Oliver. You find out that in the past that uh, Oliver has tried to get the castle owner to kill him, and Lawrence has killed the girl before that could happen. So that's their dynamic. Catherine begins wandering around the castle, and she sees a ghost of a girl that's been stabbed. She has a vision of the werewolf, the same the werewolf that she just calls it the creature. Carrying the bloody body of this dead girl to a bed, and eventually, the nanny character reveals the background. The dead girl, the ghost that Catherine is seeing, is actually Catherine's aunt. And so uh, Catherine's aunt also like got involved with this same circus troupe and ultimately died for it. And so Catherine's dad is like, nope, I will not let this happen to my daughter. Send her away, close the whole wing of the castle where this terrible tragedy happened, and we're just not gonna fucking talk about it. Like, don't say anything. Catherine didn't even know that her dad had a sister. And so Catherine starts trying to like piece this together. Like, what is going on? Why am I having visions of this creature? Why am I having visions of this ghost? And then in comes Lawrence to assault her again. Lawrence goes to her and is like, I know there's something between us, and she tells him to leave. And instead, he slaps her and knocks her out and begins to do his thing again. But this time,
Jeez.
I
Yep.
mean, is anything I'm saying incorrect?
No.
No.
Okay. So,
You got it. Continue.
So, Catherine is unconscious again, and Lawrence is about to assault her again, but the werewolf shows up and like knocks Lawrence away. And Catherine wakes up and sees the werewolf, and the werewolf frees her. So Catherine like has no idea that these are two different people. She keeps thinking that Lawrence is the werewolf. She like like a fucking magic wall in the castle begins opening up occasionally, and the fucking werewolf and Lawrence will come out. I still don't really know, other than just saying it's magic. I still don't really know what's going on with that. There's just a wall in the castle that opens to this red void, and the werewolf and Lawrence can apparently like go in and out of it at will. Um, so let's go back to Charlie, because what she's doing, she is restoring this painting, and it's like a painting, and then someone else painted a new scene over it. So she's trying to remove the top painting to get to the original painting. And slowly but surely, like the original painting was of Catherine and Lawrence and the werewolf. And so Charlie begins to think, I saw clearly like something's going on at the castle. I need to go figure out what the fuck's happening. Uh, Catherine goes to confession and I don't know, like meets with a priest who tells her that the nanny character is actually dead, and so now there's a ghost in the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
twist. What a twist.
I
So
mean,
she,
a lot of this has like some of the same like European sleaze elements and dreamlike things that are in the original Puppet Master, or like it's just very bizarre.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. I have seen reviews of this movie because I was kind of looking stuff up after I watched this to see what other people think of this movie, and that is like the number one descriptor that people say it's dreamlike. It's very sort of hazy. It's with all the slow motion and the haziness throughout the hallways of the castle with the light going through it, and it feels dreamlike. To me, watching this was a nightmare. I wouldn't consider this like dreamlike. This is just. We'll continue, Steve. We'll get
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, so the the priest that she just had her confession with, like, uh, mentions that, yo, yeah, the nanny character is dead. I think the priest tells Catherine, "Thank you for donating this painting," and she's like, "I didn't give you any painting," and he's like, "Well, the lady of the house did," and she's like, "Well, the lady of the house would have been the nanny," and then they reveal that the nanny is dead. So she goes back home and confronts the nanny, and the nanny's like, "Yep, I sure am a ghost." Like there's a mystery, and she reveals the whole backstory about Catherine's aunt who was killed by the circus troupe, and like they do this thing that I find so annoying. Like the nanny knows all of the answers. The nanny knows exactly what's going on, but she's telling Catherine, "Oh, you've got to figure it out for yourself. I can't reveal the plot right now." But she gets Catherine to reveal that she actually loves Lawrence. She has no idea that Oliver exists. She thinks that the werewolf is Lawrence. Uh, and so it's been like a day, right? Like not much time has passed. It's so like Catherine is now in love with the guy that she thinks assaulted her and also is a werewolf. And so I'm trying to think of like how we even get to the finale. Like my mind is blanking here, or maybe I've blocked it all out. So she eventually like I'm probably just cutting to the end. Like she
Yeah, yeah.
eventually is like, I have to confront Lawrence. I have to know what is going on. I have to confront my feelings for Lawrence. And she goes to I don't know, Werewolf Town, and finds Lawrence there.
I think
Werewolf
it's like,
Town.
yeah. I think it's
No, no,
just
she goes somewhere and she runs into Oliver, and Oliver like lays out the whole thing. It's like there's actually two of us. Like I am Oliver, I am the creature, I am the werewolf. Lawrence is the super evil one, and Charlie confesses her love to Oliver. She recognizes now that the werewolf is her protector in all of this. So now she knows that she loves Oliver, not Lawrence, and so she and Oliver embrace, but it wasn't Oliver, it was Lawrence the whole time. So he's like, ha ha ha, I fucked with you again. Uh, this all culminates with Lawrence like kidnapping Catherine and dragging her outside, and just kind of off to the side is the fucking werewolf holding a crossbow. Like
yeah.
as revealed in the painting, by this point, Charlie has completely revealed the painting, and it's showing this exact scene. There's Lawrence and Catherine off to the side, and a wolf pointing a crossbow. And so Charlie, who has returned to the movie now, like goes back to the castle to see what's going on, and so Lawrence is about to stab Catherine, and this has happened before. You find out that the curse originated because both Lawrence and Oliver loved the same woman. This is like 400 years ago. Uh, Lawrence tried to shoot Oliver with a crossbow, but missed and hit the girl and killed the girl. And the girl's dad placed this curse on them. So now, 400 years later, the same thing is happening. Uh, Lawrence really, really now enjoys like fucking with his brother, and so every time his brother comes close to loving someone and getting love in return, uh, Lawrence puts Oliver in the position where like I am going to kill the woman unless you kill me, and I don't think you will do it because we have this brotherly love between us. But this time, that this breaks the cycle. Uh, Oliver the werewolf finally finds the courage to try to kill Lawrence again. So he shoots him in his hand, and so like Lawrence's hand is like pinned to the wall. Uh, Catherine runs to embrace the werewolf. Lawrence goes to kill Catherine one more time, and Oliver the werewolf actually succeeds in killing Lawrence. And that breaks the curse, I guess, because now Oliver is fully human again, and he tries to say, "Oh, thank you, Catherine. I love you, but the life that I have is not one that you should be a part of. We should part ways." But Catherine's like, "Bullshit. I just went through all of that. I love you. It's been a day and a half since they've known each other. It's like I love you. I want to be with you." And so the end of the movie is Lawrence is dead. All of the circus people go back into the giant stone mouth statue, and Oliver and Catherine also walk into it. Presumably, Charlie Spradling is left there to wonder what the fuck just happened because we don't see her reaction. Fuck you, Borp. I don't have anything else to say.
All
Did I
right.
did I miss anything that we need? Jesus Christ!
Nothing
No,
important. No.
no.
I mean, Borp, I'm just going to turn it over to you at this point so you can explain yourself.
Well, I feel like I explained myself at the beginning of the episode.
Okay, sorry. So you can apologize.
All right. Well, I'm sorry for putting you guys through this. I this movie is very, very bad, and problematic and weird. And I watch a lot of older movies. I can watch things that are problematic and weird, but this is just it's a little too sleazy. I do think that you guys are gonna have to fucking grill me for this, but this is like the type of nonsense that I tend to enjoy. Not the rapey parts, but
I'm
the
glad you clarified that. Thank you.
right, the I don't know. Like this whole entire story is just nonsense. None of this dialogue makes any sense. It puts me in like a place that reminds me, makes me very nostalgic of those old Italian horror movies that I used to watch and kind of grow up on. They're also weirdly problematic and horrible in a lot of ways. But like that's the type of shit that like I really gravitate towards with older movies. I watch a lot of exploitation. I watch a lot of like European sleaze. And so this is like my wheelhouse in a lot of ways, which feels kind of fucked up to say. But that's what I enjoy. But it gets too weird. It gets too weird, and that's what I'll say.
Okay, Steve, your thoughts?
I I feel like my thoughts came across as I was describing this. This movie's awful. It is so cringy and like uncomfortable in like the worst way. Like I can watch a movie that makes me uncomfortable because it's presenting something traumatic. It's like a different kind of uncomfortable when a movie like presents something that should be traumatic, but like the movie completely misses the point and like makes it look like everyone is into it. Like it makes it look like it's supposed to be an enjoyable experience. I hope that makes a lick of sense. Uh, I hated this. God, this was so bad. It took me 3 attempts to get through this movie, and I was not into it whatsoever.
Yeah, I didn't like this movie when I saw it way back in the day, and I definitely don't like this movie now. I think you summed it up perfectly, Steve. It's the fact that this sequence of assault on these two women is played. First of all, it goes on so long. In the way that this is shot, and the style is supposed to be like the viewer is not supposed to be like, ooh, gross. I'm traumatized as a viewer watching this. It is supposed to be like, look, look at the breasts of these women, and look at these rapists raping them, and the very next day they're going to be like, oh yeah, we were raped. Move on with their lives without any introspection or anything at all. And then one of them basically just falls in love with the rapist and lives happily ever after in some weird nether realm, or something like that. The whole message of this movie is just gross. It's just gross. And like, you could have had Martin Scorsese directing something like this and I'd still say it was gross. Like, I don't know what value there is to something like this. I don't find it entertaining. I don't find the direction appealing at all. I guess you could say, Oh well, the castle looks cool. The sets look neat. There is some cool shots at the very beginning of the movie where they're walking through this like I don't know if it's like a park or something, but there's these giant stone like animals and stuff, and that apparently is a real park over there like that has that, and that all looks cool. So it has that kind of gothic feel and tone to it on a big macro level. But when you start watching it, and I'm just like, and yeah, the dialogue is so cringy. I feel sad for everyone involved in this, and I wonder if Sherilyn Fenn has ever commented on this movie or what her thoughts are on this movie. I wonder, what Charles Band has thought about. Well, actually, I know because Charles Band thinks this is one
Hmm.
of the best movies he's ever made.
Has he said that?
Yes, yes. He has said, "Oh, Meridian is a great gothic romance that
Oh
we've
my
made and
god.
stuff." Like Charles Band thinks highly of this movie, and it just makes me question. I'm like, what?
So I
Can't
looked
you?
up. I looked up. Has Sherilyn Fenn commented on Meridian? And this is the Google AI overview. So who knows where this is pulling from?
Right, right.
But the one sentence reply is Cheryl Finn has not commented on Meridian, but some say the 1990 movie is a beautiful romantic film.
Yeah,
Some
no.
might say.
I have seen reviews, like, when I was looking up reviews to see what other people have said about this, people are like, "Oh, this is so great." There are female reviewers who have said that this is really great, and they like it, and I'm just sitting here like, this is just like, if I had made something like this back in the day, even if, like, let's Borb, how you were, because I know you want to get into a conversation about this, Borb. I'm trying to
Mhm.
throw some conversation out here.
Okay.
Um, if I go by your sort of thesis here, like, okay, let's just assume, for the sake of argument, that Charles Band had the best of intentions. He was
Oh,
completely ignorant to like how this would look and how this would come across 30 years later to a different, generation of people or whatever. Society has changed, and he thought he was actually making this really romantic, gothic werewolf bestiality thing. Um, if he thought that, why would you not be able to come out and be like, yeah, I kind of fucked up on that one. I see that now. I've grown as a person. I kind of disown what I did there, and I wouldn't have done it the same way. There are people out there who might still enjoy the film for whatever reasons, right? That maybe are not related to the sexual assaults that occur in this, that are filmed lovingly and like it's a very romantic thing. But why would you still kind of be out there like promoting this movie and saying how good it is, trying to get people to watch it? It just feels gross.
yeah, I'm not giving Charles Band any benefit of the doubt here. Like, no, no, no. This,
Oh,
like,
okay, okay.
yeah, no, no, no,
I thought you had posited an idea that, well,
no, no, no.
if we do give him the benefit of the doubt back in the day.
No, 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 no. No, no. My point there really was that this is a thing that will pop up in older movies in regards
Yeah,
to like you know that's just a thing that happens, and it's always difficult, and you always you have to look at it kind of as in a case by case by way, and
yeah.
just kind of see like, okay, what were they trying to go for? Why does this not work? And I mean, I think like this doesn't work because Charles Band is a horn dog, like straight up.
Yeah, and this is basically his retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and he's like, "I'm gonna put some boobs in it, and I'm gonna, I guess, get rapey with it," and it's it's so bad. Like, oh
Yeah,
God.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Do we have anything else to say about Meridian, Kiss of the Beast, other than avoid it? If you're
Yeah,
listening to this, just don't watch it.
I'll never watch this again, and I'm okay with that decision.
Okay,
Well,
Borp, any final
no,
thoughts?
no, no, no. I'm done. I'm done.
Borb is
Let's
about
just
to
move on.
launch into like a vigorous defense of this film, and he thought
No,
better
no,
of it.
I'm not. My only thing with this movie is that it has some nonsense in it that I think is enjoyable in regards to like the dialogue and how like bizarre everything is, and how dreamlike it is. Like that is a thing that I legitimately enjoy about this thing. Like the fact that like it's a werewolf movie, and then they're like, oh, this one character was a ghost. Like what?
Is it a werewolf movie though? Like, is it really a werewolf movie?
I mean, yeah, I guess
it's like Derpy Wolf or something.
Right.
Like, there's no like, does the werewolf even like? It doesn't attack anybody or anything.
No, I mean
that's
that's another thing where it's like, talking about like so bad it's good movies, right? Where like I kind of enjoy the fact that this is a werewolf movie. Where like the werewolf doesn't attack anyone. He has a crossbow. Like, why does the werewolf have a crossbow?
Yeah, the werewolf just fucks.
Yeah,
unconsensually.
Yeah,
that's what the werewolf does, and it's problematic.
Right.
I wonder what Rachel would have thought had we made her watch this.
Oh
man, we should have had Rachel on this show just to see her reaction to having her watch something like this, because I don't think she would have ever forgiven us. But that's it, folks. Now, Steve, you had posited a couple films. What are we watching over the next couple weeks?
So I've presented like four movies. So I was thinking Dr. Mordred or whatever, like the Doctor Strange knockoff. Crash and Burn, which I've never heard of. I'm pitching it just solely based off the cover art. I was also looking for like Full Moon franchises, like what kind of what movies generated like sequels. And there's also Oblivion 1 and 2. So I don't know, like what do you guys do? You want Oblivion, or do you want two unrelated movies?
Why don't we just do all of them?
Yeah.
I mean, eventually we will, but what do you want to do next is what I'm asking.
Let's do this Dr. Mordred.
Dr. Mordred. Okay, Dr. Mordred is coming up next. It's probably going to be dog shit.
It's got Jeffrey Combs in it, so
I stand by my comment. It's probably going to be dog shit.
Look, if anyone wants to discover a really cool Jeffrey Combs thing he was in, go listen to Steve and I's episode 2 of Perversions of Science, where we actually watch a Jeffrey Combs movie. I won't spoil what Jeffrey Combs, who Jeffrey Combs is in that, but it's awesome. It's super, super awesome, and he's great in it. So that's just a cross-pollination, a plug for other stuff on Outpost Gnome. Check out our Perversions of Science episode 2 for that. So that's it, everybody. Thanks again for listening. Hit that like and subscribe if you want more of this. And, well, actually, don't. When I say more of this, just more of us talking Full Moon Fridays, not more Meridian, Kiss of the Beast. We're not going to make that a whole genre of show on the channel. So, Borb, I hope that you feel bad for making your friends watch this. More of your friends watch this. This seems to be a pattern, and I'm a little disturbed by it. And I'd recommend you not do that again in the future to any future friends. But bye, everybody.